All right, here are my thoughts of where the tension and the release comes from in Possum. Without getting too deep into the music theory, I will say that it is mostly because in the progression of Possum, basic blues progression with a little bit of flavor around the turnaround, right? It's a G instead of just going to the A. But what they do through the jam is that they start off by resolving and making the one of the beginning of the progression very obvious. And then as the jam progresses each time through, they start to build in this tail here after the turnaround. And then instead of hitting the one here hard and resolving, they continue to build and add tension and add tension. And then when they get to the A is when they actually do the resolution. And they just kind of continue building more and more tension each time through. And so let's listen to how that sounds. This is, I think, Trey's first go around. Here comes your turnaround. Now they made the one there very obvious. It's really clear that the progression has started over. Here comes the turnaround again. And there's going to be a little bit more build here. Right, and there's the first example. So they build over that bar line. I'll rewind a little bit and we can listen to that again. Trey starts to build over that bar line. So he starts that riff, which is using actually the notes, it's using a D instead of an E. So the D is the seventh of the E. So that adds a little tension. And then he also lowers it a half step to a C sharp during that riff to add even more tension. Call that chromaticism if you want. The D to C sharp, it's a half step. Page is also playing something similar behind him. Mike is also changing his bass line a little bit too. So that's where a lot of that tension comes from. And then when they hit the A, they all resolve together. So listen one more time to how Trey starts that kind of high single note lick before the beginning of the progression, plays over that bar line through the whole first part of the progression, and then resolves when they hit the A. There's your resolution, right? And now they're gonna follow that same idea again when they get to this turnaround in the tail. Similar thing. And Trey uses even more chromaticism there. He plays this little lick, kind of. So during the tail, when he starts to build that, he goes like... something like that. And those are all kind of chromatic half step moves up, which add a lot of tension, and then they kind of peak because he lands on the E, which is the root of that chord, and does this kind of tremolo picking thing, you know, classic Trey climax. So let's listen to that one more time. That's the chromatic stuff. Now he's nailing that E. And here comes the big resolution on A. crazier, deeper into the bag. It's the tail. Right, so listen, we'll rewind that again and listen. Trey does those like kind of wailing notes through the tail, over the bar line, through the whole first part of the progression. Paige in the background is doing like a rising lick, kind of reminiscent of a tweet prize type thing. And then Mike is doing something interesting, but he and Phish are kind of holding it down so that Trey and Paige can go a little wild. Here we go, we're back in that previous chorus. Here's a turnaround. Here's the tail. Page is rising and rising. And there's the A, there's the resolution. And then they all bring it back. They make it really obvious the progression is going to start at the 1 again for the vocals to come back in, right? And that's pretty much it.